A cry for help in a 911 call led deputies to a heartbreaking scene in Tangipahoa Parish. The woman in that call saying she'd been shot. Deputies found the woman and her boyfriend dead in their home in a meat.
Ryan Snow killed 2 parents in their own home, shot them multiple times, left 3 kids without a mom or dad. And right now, as you're watching this video, he's free. Not on bail, not on house arrest, just free. Because Louisiana prosecutors couldn't file paperwork on time. I need you to understand something. This isn't some cold case from the 90s. This happened in July 2024, a little over a year ago. The blood was barely dry before they caught him, and they still managed to let him walk. But here's what's gonna haunt you about this case. The last photo Chrissy Jenkins posted on Facebook was from their beach vacation. Her and Christopher finally looking happy after 10 years of struggle. Christopher's holding cash. Not a lot, but enough to show they were doing okay. 6 weeks later, she's calling 911 with bullets in her body, and he's already dead on their bedroom floor. The killer knew exactly where to find them. That little trailer on MLK Street in Amite City, where they'd lived for 7 years. He knew when the kids would be gone. He probably knew which door they used, what car they drove, maybe even what they had for dinner that night. Was he on Chrissy's friends list? Was he some random creep who found them through mutual friends? Or was he just another person double-tapping their vacation photos while planning their execution? We still don't know. And honestly, we might never know because the people responsible for getting justice completely dropped the ball. So who were Chrissy Jenkins and Christopher Hegwood? Because the news wants to paint them as this tragic couple, which they were. But the full truth is more complicated. And yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Chrissy was 27, high school dropout, mother of 2, the kind of woman who worked 3 different jobs: grocery store cashier, motel housekeeper, cutting hair from her kitchen, just to keep food on the table. Christopher was 29, father of 3, fresh out of a 14-month prison stint that ended in 2020. Not for anything violent. The man had some drug charges, petty theft, the kind of stuff that happens when you're broke in Louisiana. They'd been together since she was 17. Do the math on that. A 17-year-old girl and a 19-year-old guy trying to build something in a town where her own uncle, who was a city councilman by the way, said murders weren't surprising because of all the drug activity. And yeah, about that uncle. Jonathan Foster really said that to reporters. His niece is dead, and his first comment is basically, well, this neighborhood's always been rough. Uncle of the Year material right there. These 2 lived in the same mobile home for 7 years. Not a house, not an apartment, a trailer. On Martin Luther King Street, which, and I'm not making this up, is literally on the wrong side of the tracks in a town that only has wrong sides. Now here's where their story gets interesting. And by interesting, I mean concerning. Chrissy had a Facebook page. Christopher either never had one, deleted it after prison, or they shared hers. But Chrissy's page, oh boy, this woman was posting everything. Beach vacation pics, family photos, her smoking weed, and my personal favorite, Christopher holding cash like they just won the lottery. Let me explain why that's monumentally stupid. When you've got a criminal record, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, when CPS has already been sniffing around your trailer, which they had, you don't post money. You don't show drugs. You don't give every broke, desperate, or vindictive person in your area a reason to think you're worth robbing. But Chrissy didn't think like that. To her, Facebook was like a diary that talked back. Every mood, every moment, every little victory got posted. Finally saved enough for a beach trip. Posted. Christopher's home from prison. Posted. Got a little extra cash this month? Let's take a picture. And here's the thing. I'm not saying she deserved what happened. Nobody deserves to be murdered in their own home. But when you're broadcasting your life to strangers, when your profile is probably public, when you're accepting friend requests from anybody with a pulse, you're not being careful. You're being a target. 3 weeks before the murder, and this is documented, Chrissy posted about cars driving by their trailer at night. Strange cars. Cars that didn't belong in their neighborhood. Now, if you notice people casing your house, what do? Call the cops? Get security cameras? Maybe stop telling the internet where you live? Nope. Chrissy kept posting, kept sharing, kept giving whoever was watching exactly what they needed.
He's the type of person that he's just so willing and so giving, so I don't understand why somebody would do this.
July 22nd, 2024. The day before the murders. Something was different. Chrissy called her mum that afternoon and asked if the kids could stay overnight. No special reason, no plans, just a feeling. She dropped them off around dinner time and told her mother something that still gives me chills. Make sure they know how much I love them. Mothers know. Women know when something's off. And Chrissy knew. That same day, neighbors saw Christopher arguing with some young guys at a neighborhood barbecue. Security footage from a convenience store caught him in a heated exchange with someone around 9:30 p.m. We don't know what was said. We don't know if it's connected. But tensions were building. By 10:45 that night, neighbors heard raised voices from the trailer. Nothing unusual. Chrissy and Christopher fought like they loved, which is to say, loudly and often. The pizza delivery guy had been there at 8:27. Just a normal Tuesday night in the hood. Except it wasn't normal, because somewhere out there Ryan Snow was getting ready. This 21-year-old nobody. This kid with barely any criminal record was about to become a killer. And the most disturbing part? The security camera that usually recorded their front door mysteriously stopped working between midnight and 4 a.m. Just stopped. Like someone knew exactly what they were doing. At 4:13 a.m., Chrissy made that call. 3 words. I've been shot. By the time police arrived at 4:27, both she and Christopher were dead. Multiple gunshots. No forced entry. The door was open just slightly, like someone they knew had been let in. Or someone who knew exactly how to make them feel safe enough to open it. So the cops show up. 2 bodies. 7 shell casings. And absolutely nobody talking. You know what's crazy? Over 50 people were interviewed in the first week. 50! In a town of 4,000 people, that's basically everyone who lived on that street. And they all suddenly developed amnesia. Didn't see nothing. Didn't hear nothing. Don't know nothing. Sheriff Gerald Sticker actually said, and I quote, "We're dealing with a level of fear I haven't seen in 25 years. 25 years. This man has seen everything Louisiana has to offer. And this case had people too scared to snitch. That tells you something about who they thought did it, or who they thought ordered it. For 2 months, this case went nowhere. Crime Stoppers raised the reward to $10,000. Still nothing. Then in September, forensics finally came through. A cigarette butt in the front yard, some fancy DNA testing, cell phone pings. And on October 12th, they arrested Ryan Snow, 21 years old, college dropout, no real criminal record, no obvious connection to the victims. Just some random kid from Hammond, Louisiana, who decided to play God with other people's lives. Now here's where this story goes from tragic to infuriating. Louisiana law says you have 120 days to indict someone for murder. 4 months. That's it. Just get a grand jury together, show them the evidence, get an indictment. It's not rocket science, it's paperwork. The prosecutors had DNA evidence, the murder weapon, cell phone records. This should have been the easiest indictment in Louisiana history. February 14th, 2025. Valentine's Day. While people were buying flowers and chocolate, a grand jury pre-termitted the charges against Ryan Snow. That's fancy legal talk for the prosecutors forgot to do their job. February 18th. A judge had no choice but to let him go. No bail, no ankle monitor. Just, sorry for the inconvenience of arresting you for double murder, you're free to go. You following this? They had him. And they let him walk because somebody couldn't file paperwork on time. Mookie Jenkins, that's Chrissy's sister, found out about Snow's release the same way you're finding out right now, through the media. Nobody called her. Nobody warned her that her sister's alleged killer was back on the streets. District Attorney Scott Perilous sent out some BS statement about continuing to work with investigators. Brother, you had 4 months. What exactly are you continuing? And here's a fun fact they don't want you to know. There's another person of interest. Jamarcus Cyprian. Never arrested, never charged. Just floating around out there while 3 kids grow up without parents. Those kids are living with grandma now, drawing pictures of angels protecting houses, having nightmares, going to therapy that the community is paying for because the state that failed to convict their parents' killer sure isn't helping. So, what did we learn today? That you can literally murder 2 people and walk free if the government can't do basic paperwork. That Facebook isn't your diary. That when you see strange cars outside your house, you call 911, not post about it. All of the above. Look, if this story made you angry, good. Comment below and tell me what made you maddest. Was it Snow walking free? The prosecutor's incompetence? Or the fact that Chrissy saw it coming and nobody helped? And if you think your friends need to hear this story, especially that friend who overshares everything online, hit that share button. Because somebody you know is making the same mistakes Chrissy made, and they need to understand that the internet isn't playing games. Subscribe if you want more stories that'll make you mad enough to actually pay attention. Because next week, I've got another case where social media literally became evidence at a murder trial. And trust me, it's worse than this one. Stay safe. Stay private. And for the love of God, stop accepting friend requests from strangers. Peace.